everybody, WWJD here, the Pacific Storm Allies Gamers, and I have a question for you. If in World War II the Germans and Japan were not allied, and if, for say, the Bismarck went up against maybe the Yamato, who would win? You know, this question has puzzled me for quite some time, and I'm now able to actually put it to the test with our newly built PSA. So as you can see, I have launched up PSA 1.8 beta, and I'm going to pit these two ships against each other. So right now, as you can see, I am currently playing as the Bismarck. So let us begin moving. However, I am also going to enable debug mode, so I can directly command both ships, and so I can see all the statistics here on the side about the hull damage. This will prove to be quite an interesting battle, for both of these ships are very impressive. Alright. First off, we must realize that the Yamato has larger main guns. Overall, the Bismarck is outgunned. However, the targeting systems are better. And so I'm thinking the strategy here to allow the Bismarck to claim victory will be to stay as far away as possible, but allow her guns to be in range. That way, they're on the same playing field as far as gun power. Well, actually, the Yamato will have a little bit of advantage, but at least the advantage... Ooh, we can already see there's some explosions off here. You can see how far off those rangefinders are right now on the Yamato. But right now, I think it's wise just to get in range and let the rangefinders deal with it, and try to maybe even knock out some rangefinders on the Yamato. However, for the Yamato's standpoint, their strategy is going to need to be, let's get in close and let's just go broadside. These guys have huge armor, and if they can get close to the Bismarck, then they're going to have a huge advantage, because then they're just simply going to crush the Bismarck's armor with their massive 20-inch guns. Alright, so this is going to be quite an interesting battle to see and to watch it unfold. Alright, so we can see the Yamato's guns are already in range. You can just check on the minimap right there and look. And that the Yamato is just currently getting all of her main guns, all 9 of them firing. Oh, and there goes some more rounds on that ship. Alright, so let's go and take a look-see at the Bismarck. You can see the Bismarck is just not in range, but we're getting her to close in quickly. Alright, this will be quite an interesting battle. You can see that the Bismarck has 13 rangefinders, whereas the Yamato has 33. So it's going to be a bit harder for the Bismarck to knock out all these rangefinders. Ooh, and there we go. We have shells being fired from those 22-inch guns from the Yamato. This is going to be quite an interesting battle, guys. We can see that the rangefinders are just not tuned in well. You can just see where they're exploding. They're nowhere near the Bismarck. Alright, let's see. The Bismarck is now on a direct course, and now the guns are in range. Let's go ahead and get the Bismarck to start turning, so maybe we can get the rear guns in range so we are not outgunned. Alright, so we can see that we are fired, and look, we're starting to get a few rounds there. That's not too far off, actually, for the first round. For the first shot. I really do think it's going to come down to who can hit first. It's going to be quite interesting to see. Right now, both ships are fully moving. Yeah, you can just see the range. They're just so inaccurate from the Yamato. But we've got the Bismarck firing her guns yet again. Ah, the music, the new soundtrack made by Kilmar. He did a great job on that. Man, he's done a lot of good work for 1.7. Or, I'm sorry, 1.8. Thank you, man, for doing it all. Oh, we've got a couple more rounds going right on by. Ooh, that looks like it was a relatively close round. Not too bad, actually, seeing at how far these guys are. The Yamato currently moving quickly. Let's see if we can't adjust her movement pattern just so that she stays broadside. Because we want to pit these guys up as if they had smart captains, not an AI captain. Ooh, we got a close round. That was really close. It looked like, yeah, right there. Oh, it looks like the Bismarck is getting the other 2 guns in range. That's going to be big. Now we have 9 guns on the Yamato for the 8 guns on the Bismarck. We're getting back in line. Things are going to be kind of even now. Oh, but those shells went everywhere. Those were not accurate whatsoever. Nothing good there. Alright, so those look a lot better though, from the forward 2 guns, from the forward 2 turrets I should say, not guns. Let's see if those things get anywhere near a good shot. We can just see the explosions everywhere over there from where the Yamato is missing. Ooh, those got decently close. Ooh, a full armor pierce. It looks like the Yamato managed to strike the Bismarck. That is big. Alright, let's bring up our statistics here. It's impressive that the Yamato managed to make the first hit. But then again, she has been firing for a longer period of time. She has been in range for a longer period of time. And as these 2 ships, their ranges increase, they're going to start landing their shots, and it's really going to be interesting to see how things go. Oh, we can just see that it was close right off this side there. Let's keep adjusting our images so we can see who's getting hit where. And again, I've got all these stats here on the side that we can see. No armor pierce, full armor pierce. Looks like the Bismarck is taking some shots, which is really impressive that the Yamato is doing this. So let's try to get the Yamato a little bit closer. Ooh, right there. We got some damage done to the Yamato, and look at that, there's already some flooding going in. That was a good shot from the Bismarck, and that's what good rangefinders can do. We're going to need to see, that looks like it was a pretty decent hit. That was intense. Yes indeed, that was a pretty good shot. Looks like the rear gun is not in range on the Yamato, so we're going to try to move out just a little bit wider to try to get that last gun in range. Oh, another good shot from the Bismarck. Oh, that's even more flooding onto the Yamato from the Bismarck. It seems like as they're getting closer, the Bismarck is in fact making more hits. We can check a little look-see here right at the front of the ship on the Bismarck. It has taken a bit of damage, but there is no flooding currently. The Yamato is just taking on water. It looked like those two hits did a lot of damage. Let's take a little look-see at the compartments. We can see that the flooding in hull 5 is just 100%. That entire hull is just flooded. That's going to hurt them pretty heavily. We can see hull 2 is just entirely flooded. We can see here that all these compartments are just flooded with water. Those were some seriously good hits from the Bismarck. But now, as they start getting a little bit closer to each other, it's going to be interesting to see if the Yamato's crew can actually seal up those holes, and if the gunners on the Yamato can actually continue making things happen with the guns. But it looks like they got struck again right off the front there. Oh, and another good shot from the Bismarck, destroying that medium turret right there. That's huge, because now when they were at a disadvantage as far as gun power is, they've already gotten to the point where they've made it even more even. So the Bismarck is in a huge position to claim victory. Ooh, wow, look at this, guys. We just have a huge amount of flooding. Looks like the compartments just finally gave way, possibly from here, from the original flooding compartment. And it looks like just the entire ship is starting to take on huge amounts of water. And look at all the shell hits that are just coming in from the Bismarck. It's impressive that the Yamato is still afloat with that much water inside of the ship. It looks like the Yamato herself is slowing down her movements. We can go and we can just look at all these compartments. Look how much water is in this ship. It's going to be quite interesting to see if the Bismarck. Ooh, we can look here on the Bismarck and see that she's in fact herself taking on some water damage right about here. It looks like the Yamato just got hit again. The Yamato just completely being dominated by the superior rangefinders that the Germans have on board their flagship. We can just look at the front section of the Yamato and just see all the damage in the hulls that's going on here. Once that damage becomes and completely cripples the front of that ship, that's going to be huge, because there's so much water is going to be just flooding inside of that ship. You know, I'm speaking kind of quickly, guys, but man, I have to keep up. Things happen. I think it's going to be good for the Bismarck to stay outside of the range of the medium-sized guns on the Yamato, because once she gets in range, those medium guns just crush her. But if things keep going on as the way they are going on now, I would say the Bismarck has a huge opportunity for winning. Oh my! Those were some big hits. The Yamato just crushed the rear. The Bismarck has lost a rear turret. She is now down to 6 main guns. That is big for the Yamato, just giving the Yamato so much of an advantage as far as gun superiority. Now with her 20-inch guns, that was impressive. The only problem is the Yamato is still taking on huge amounts of water, and I don't know if that's just too little too late, but I can definitely tell you, oh, we can look now, that actually caused flooding, more flooding inside the Bismarck than that there was before. This is going to be quite interesting to see how the rest of this battle plays out. Look how close these shots are. The Yamato's rangefinders maybe not be superior, but they are starting to get them trained on in there. You can see they've lost a good number of rangefinders. Was that 15 rangefinders that they've already lost? That's crazy. The Yamato is still alive, still kicking. Oh, but it appears as though the rear turret is no longer able to fire. The Bismarck has moved on beyond what that rear turret is, and seeing as how the Yamato has so much water that she can't even rotate very quickly, that could be huge. Wow, that's huge, because the Yamato may have taken out one of the guns on, or one of the turrets on the Bismarck, but the fact that the Bismarck has made one of the Yamato's guns just totally obsolete. That's intense. That's great. The Yamato has taken more hits there. Yes, we can just see how slow of a rotate this ship is. It's really crazy. Oh, but now she has rotated enough to actually manage to get that other turret in range. So now they again have the gun superiority. Oh, those shells look like they might be good. I don't know about this. If those all strike, I would doubt that they all will strike, but it is possible to take for the Bismarck to be hit by at least one or two of these. And we can see how close. Yes, indeed, 2 of those slammed into the side, causing even more flooding onto the Bismarck. Those were good shots from the Yamato. However, the Yamato still taking on huge amounts of water. We can just look at the compartments there as they're starting to get redder. It's crazy to see this. Let's make sure that the Bismarck keeps rotating so to keep all those guns in range. I'm sorry, the Yamato, so the guns in range. I still say that's very impressive that the, or unfortunate for the Bismarck, that turret was removed from combat. But she still has 6 heavy turrets and superior rangefinders. Oh, we see just how close those shells landed to the Bismarck. Ooh, another good shot onto the Yamato. That right now with the weakened structure that the Yamato already has, that's every hit is a terrible thing right at this point. I can tell you right now, if this happened, if this was you in a campaign, if you were playing as Japan or Germany, man, I would be worried for these 2 ships to come up against each other, because these ships take a long time to produce and are very expensive. So it would be very interesting to see these 2 ships in a real campaign come together. So also, guys, this I think is going to be made a series. I think I'm going to call it Ship versus Ship. Make a playlist for it and everything. So, but the way it's going to go is you guys in the comments below, you get to discuss what ships you want to see in the next video. So tell me below what ships need to be pitted against each other. I mean, that's up to you. It could be destroyers, it could be cruisers, battleships. It could be carriers if you wanted it to, and if you wanted to, we could even use aircraft. Oh, look at those other good hits onto the Yamato. Man, the rangefinders on the Bismarck are really proving themselves useful. As the Bismarck is just, or as the Yamato just takes so much punishment. We can see as the Bismarck goes, she's taking on a little bit of water, but she's still very well in the movement. Ooh, couple good shots right there. Looks like the Yamato is taking on a lot of water. And that is terrible for the terrible. I don't know if let's check Yes, the crew compartments are not doing well at all. Unfortunately, it looks like they lost some crew. Yeah, man, this is gonna be crazy. The only thing that's saving the Yamato at this point is the huge amount of armor that ship has on her. Here comes some more rounds. Oh, that was a good shot. Right onto the deck of the Bismarck. We can see, look at that compartment. It took some hitting. But it looks like the Yamato's still taking damage. Still being shelled. Ooh. Got another hit onto the rear of the Bismarck here. The Bismarck isn't taking on a whole lot of water. You would think she would be taking on a bit more water than the Yamato, seeing as how her hull is not quite as thick or as strong. Those rounds might actually do really well coming from that rear turret. Ooh. Now I think what would be really intense is if one of the main turrets on the Yamato were to go down. If the Bismarck can knock him out, or if an ammo load were to explode, that would be devastating for the Yamato. The Yamato would have very little ability to recover from that. They certainly wouldn't get it repaired while in the middle of combat. They would actually have to go to port, but seeing as how this is actually just a battle planner. Oh, but look at these striking hits onto the side of the Bismarck. That definitely could. That could be a game changer right there. That's a lot of damage the Bismarck has received in that one salvo. Another couple salvos like that, and the Yamato could potentially get it back into the lead, as I would say in this. Or again, maybe an ammo load would just completely detonate. An ammo load detonation would cause huge amounts of damage to either of these ships at this point. Got a good couple more rounds coming off of that. Not sure how well that's going to go on the hitting. Ooh, those are very close to the striking the actual ship right there. Ooh, but it appears as the Bismarck was hit again. She seems to be taking on a little bit more water now, and you can check the rear. That entire compartment section is completely destroyed. That is crazy. That is just crazy. Alright. Got a tiny shot up here on the front of the ship. Not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, it looks like the Yamato is still doing her best to shell at the enemy. At the Bismarck. But it looks like the rangefinders are, as the ranges increase, or as the, ooh, another good hit on the side here. Really close to hitting right up here on the front as well. You can look at the Bismarck and tell she's taking on a good bit more water. That is quite evident. Looks like the Yamato just took another hit. But ooh, the Yamato herself is on fire. That could actually increase the probability of an ammo load going up. And again, that would destroy just the hull in that entire section of wherever that ammo load went up, including potentially the turret itself. So that's huge that the Yamato is on fire right there. That could be a game changer. I don't know. We will have to see. But you can just tell that the Bismarck is not giving up, despite losing one of her rear turrets. And the thing that's really helping out too is that the Bismarck, ooh, those are two really good striking hits onto the side. But the Bismarck still being able to move makes it that much harder to hit. And again, with the inferior rangefinders that are sitting on the Yamato, that is just crazy. That makes it a lot harder to deal with. And whereas the Yamato is just sitting stagnant in the water, unable to really move at all, makes it a lot easier to hit. Especially seeing as how there are superior rangefinders on the Bismarck herself. But again, we have all of the turrets still firing, all the primary turrets still firing from the Yamato, and 3 of them still firing from the Bismarck. Ooh, that was a good shot. Those were some good shots right onto the side of the Bismarck right there. I was actually going to see if this turret would have gone down. To me, that looked like that turret should have gone down, but fortunately the armor was just strong enough to hold. The Yamato has just lost a lot of, looks like they took a good couple hits there. Yep. And they've got a second fire breaking out onto that ship. That is big. That increases the probability of ammo load problems again, and it weakens the hull itself. It looks like the Bismarck has been taking a couple hits, but again, all of her turrets are still holding strong. But she is taking on quite a bit of water. These shouldn't be really big threats. Oh, but a round did hit right near the bridge. That could be interesting to see if... Let's take a little look at the crew. And yes, the crew have been taking a bit... The crew compartments have been taking a bit of a hit, making it harder to repair. Let's take a look at the Yamato's crew compartments, and those have actually been hurt worse than the Bismarck's. Therefore, the crew on the Yamato are just not going to be able to help out with all the new leaks that are striking. It looks like one of the fires has been nearly put out just by looking things. No, well, yes, it is actually. The fires are getting put out in those compartments, which is very fortunate for the Bismarck. For the Yamato, I am sorry. We can go and we can look at the Bismarck and we can see that she's taking on huge amounts of water at this point. This could be it. It looks like the hull is just finally collapsing in on itself for the Bismarck, but she's still trying to fight with the end. She's going to fight to the end. We know this. The battleship Yamato has received some more damage. Oh my, this is big. Both of these ships are very weak. Both of these ships' hulls are taking huge amounts of damage. Oh my. Just so much is going on at this point. But I would have to, man, just looking at the Bismarck and seeing how much water she's taking on and seeing how her hull is just completely being obliterated. You can just see the smoke right off the side of the ship as they're firing. I don't know, but this is going to be quite an interesting finish. Oh my! Those were some really good hits onto the top deck of the Bismarck. Again, I am surprised a turret did not go down. But you can just look at the color coding here, and you can just see how much damage on top of that ship's taken. We can go look at the Yamato again, but it looks like there's still a fire that's still being put out. The rear of the ship is still being hurt. Oh, a medium-sized gun is now in range, meaning that the Yamato again has a huge amount of gun superiority. But but the Yamato just took some more hits right there. That could be interesting to see how that affects it. I would say that those medium guns on the Yamato actually have enough power at this point to cause huge damage onto the Bismarck, depending on where they strike the ship. My goodness, this is very intense. It looks like the Bismarck is now stalled in the water. Stalled in the water. Oh, we can just take a little look-see here at the Yamato. They put out one of the fires. Apparently there's only a small fire sitting inside the ship at this point. We don't even see it on the outside. But yes, that's great that they're working on it. Yep, they're definitely getting the fires under control. Good thing the crew is there to work on that. But again, they're taking on huge amounts of water. The Bismarck, again, still huge amounts of water and still huge hull damage. It'll be quite interesting to see if one of these turrets are just going to go out on the Bismarck. Ooh, another good strike, another good hit right there on the side of the ship. The Bismarck barely able to move at all. The Yamato still holding her own. Especially after earlier, I was a little bit worried about the Yamato, but this has turned out to be quite an epic battle. We've got a couple more rounds coming in, and a good shot right on top of the main gun, but it seemed to hold. Fortunately for the crew of the Yamato. I wouldn't be surprised to see that turret actually have some problems later on with ammo load destruction, as well as some of the turrets here on the Bismarck. We'll have to keep a look here on the side to see if something like that happens. However, it's possible that flooding will just simply overtake these ships before anything like that actually happens. My good, oh, that was another good shot right there. We can see that now the Bismarck is taking on some flooding here. That flooding is intense. But she is still fighting on. Here comes another huge salvo from the front. Oh, I actually hit the movement. But from the Yamato, just crushing the side of that ship. That was big. It looks like the hull has just barely been able to hold out on that shot, though. We can come check out the Yamato. Yep, it looks like all the fires are put out on the Yamato. That is great and fortunate for the crew. Oh, but just as soon as I say that, another fire breaks out. I am getting slightly concerned for the Yamato's crew with just all this fire. But again, she still seems to be holding her own, which is very impressive. The Bismarck is really taking a beating at this point. now that they seem to have the Yamato's rangefinders seem to be working out very well for them, and the guns I think are just making huge impacts into the side of the Bismarck. Oh, but it looks like some changes have occurred with the flooding just by looking at the statistics here. Don't know what's going to go on there. Kind of hard to predict there. But, man, we've got the 20-inch guns firing pretty hard. Ooh, looks like the... oh, that was a good shot right there onto the side of the Yamato. The Yamato's taking on huge bits of water. Oh, this could be it, guys. Just look at the flooding. It looks like the crew is just unable to stop it on that last round. This might be it. Is that it? Is that it for the Bismarck? Or, I'm sorry, for the Yamato? Is it? It is. It's going to be it, isn't it? And there she goes. There goes the Yamato. By just a slight amount of water. And really, I would say the outcome of this could be totally different. And here's what I'm going to say to you. I think that the Bismarck, if it had gone on for any longer, the Bismarck would have lost, probably. But in honor of the Yamato, we are going to go full broadside fire with whatever remains on the side on our ship.